There's some moonshine in little ball jars, shot glasses up front. You're welcome. Come up, grab one. There's more moonshine, and we can refill them if you run out. So I am John Melessa. That's fine. That's fine. I'll give you guys a second. Cheers. Cheers. So the what's that?
It's more popular than Bailey's from a shoe.
Bailey's apparently. Oh man. Is there? Also, who has not ever had moonshine before? Please come up and have a taste. If you're into drinking alcohol, it's an experience you need to have at least once in your life. I did not brew this. No, I did not brew this. Okay, I'm gonna have to move on. Even I think the moonshine's very popular. So woo! Thank you. So I was thinking a while back about rednecks. I have been around rednecks my entire life. They tend to get a bad rep, right? I mean, people think that they're idiots, they do idiotic stuff. But I tend to look at them as being inventive, very creative problem solvers. They're not hindered by lack of resources, typically money. If they have something they need to do, they're going to figure out a way to do it, right? Yes, I'm getting a lot of nods. So I hope by the end of this talk, if you're not already a fan of rednecks or embrace your redneck side, I hope I give you some encouragement to do that by the time we finish. Yeah. And if you can do it without spilling your alcohol, then you're skilled in either group, right? So I did grow up in Alexander County. It's a small town. The population in 2010 was 37,000. When I was growing up, there was a race car driver named Harry Gant. He was some hot stuff. Yes! This is great. These are my people. There was lots of farms, mostly cattle. There were some chicken farms and some hog farms. Cotton was a big thing. Tobacco was huge before the lawyers kind of killed R.J. Reynolds' business model. I couldn't find the statistic on the web, but I read it when I was in college. The year I graduated, there was 100, out of the 100 counties in North Carolina, or Alexander County was like 97th out of the 100. North Carolina was 49th out of the 50 states. I got probably one of the worst educations you could receive in the entire country. So, woo! So, Bobby Mojo was a nickname that was given to me at my old employer. They were goofing around one day. I was complaining about nicknames, and they were goofing around about Talladega Nights, and I think they thought I reminded them of Ricky Bobby. And so they came up with this scheme, which is described at the 5th bullet point there, on how you arrive at your Bobby name. You can come up with your own Bobby name. Basically, you take a portion of your last name, a portion of your first name, you swap them, and then you tack Bobby on the front of it, and then that's your Bobby name. Mine just happened to be really cool. It comes out to Bobby Mojo. I'm okay with that. We had a guy, his name was Bobby Stabber, Bobby Noda, Bobby Uchi, and Bobby Bima. Not as cool as Bobby Mojo. The Bobby part is optional, but anyway, that's how that came about. So what is a redneck? Throw out some words, please. Me. Country. Guns. Trucks. What was it? No. No. Duct tape? Yes. So we got, I think of wild. They're wild. I mean, they like to party. They like to have fun. They like their trucks. Bourbon, love to laugh. They love to make other people laugh, and they'll do it at their own expense sometimes, right? It's a hardcore do-it-yourself attitude. They don't generally like to buy things. If they're, like I said originally, if they're trying to solve a problem, money is a limiting factor, so they'll figure out some way to do it without having to resort to money. They love driving in the snow and the opportunity to pull people out of ditches. I know this firsthand. Big trucks, excessive drinking, excessive public drinking, excessive group drinking. Full of ideas that usually originate during the aforementioned drinking. Resource limited, creative problem solvers. That's the one I really want to focus on. I think rednecks are creative problem solvers. And fire. Fire. I can't believe nobody said fire. Guns, hunting, and tattoos. So what are some words that are used to describe hackers? I described fire. Duct tape, I think, is also applicable to hackers, yes? I'm sorry? I didn't. Drinking. All right, so we got wild, inquisitive, inventive, often resource limited. There's some similarities here. A hardcore do-it-yourself attitude, excessive drinking, creative problem solving, fire, guns, tattoos. There's a lot of overlap. A lot of overlap. And I think that's a good thing. The hackers are embraced by and large today. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, you're taking, they will be, give me about 30 minutes after the talk and I'll have them posted. So my wife, I had her do that. I can't do anything that creative. So rednecks portrayed in media. This is where it gets kind of, so it most often focuses on the idiotic crap that rednecks do, right? You've seen the iFixit stuff and the rednecks for paychecks. I haven't seen that one. So here's some search terms you want to go research after the talk if you're still interested in this. They usually involve near-death experiments, maybe unintentional, I don't know. Destruction of private and public property often is the result, and meant to illustrate how dumb rednecks are. I'm intending to illustrate the opposite. So Jeff Foxworthy was the first famous redneck that I ever remember getting a lot of attention, and I'm not sure what he's doing there. Beverly Hillbillies, yes. I did not think about them. And she cooked moonshine too, didn't she? You got this guy, Larry the Cable Guy, and Mater, which my kids love Mater, so I can't say anything about Mater. There's a lot of TV shows now on the History Channel, A&E, TLC, several of them, right? There's a big, I mean, it's kind of big money. There's a lot of interest now. And I think it's at the expense of the rednecks. They're laughing at rednecks. These guys, Duck Dynasty, I mean, they have made an absolute fortune on the idiotic crap that they do. Beards is also very important, yes. It's also important in this crowd. I see beard, beard, beard. Moonshiners, anybody watch this? It's a fun show. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. What I don't understand is they're breaking the law. It's recorded on video. They've got it all, but the cops can't. It is evidence, right? I don't understand how they can get away with it, and they're fully admitting what they're doing. I mean, they're like, yeah, we're cooking moonshine. We got the mash, we got the still. He's got a sidekick named Tickle, and I think he enjoys drinking more moonshine than he does brewing it. Has anybody seen Tickle? Show of hands. I'm curious how many. God, you guys need to see this. Tickle is a good time. He was on the roof building something one time, and he's just absolutely shit-faced. And he falls off into the truck, and he hits his. Oh, I felt bad for that guy. But they're yes. I didn't see. So there's a phrase. My mom worked in a duct tape factory, as a matter of fact, and there's a phrase I used to like to use. If you can't duck it, yeah, okay, all right. Hillbilly handfishing, otherwise known as noodling, is where a guy goes under the water, sticks his hand into a fish's mouth, and catches it. There's a whole TV show, and that's the guy. You know, I mean, one day it could just take the arm completely off. Swamp People. Has anybody seen this show? A couple of people? He's a funny guy. His accent is very thick. You can't hardly understand what he's saying, but he's a great time to listen to. He kind of reminds me of somebody else who also happens to be from Louisiana. He also happens to be from Louisiana, so I thought that was, I mean, really, kind of look at the chin, too. Anyway. Honey Boo Boo, I never watched that one. I can't say anything much about it. I thought it was, anyway. She was dead. Anyway. There's something called Slednecks. Have you guys heard of this? This isn't, so redneck. It's an MTV show, and it's out of Alaska. So rednecks aren't just reserved to the southeast anymore. We're going global. I mean, we got rednecks in Ohio. We got them in Alaska. This one was new to me. I didn't know this until I started doing the research. This show is cool. It's on Netflix. You need to watch it. It's called Rocket City Rednecks. Getting a thumb up of approval over here. This particular episode, they used moonshine and nitrous oxide to build a rocket that they launched. The parachute failed to deploy, and it kind of came down and stuck in the ground, but it worked. The very first episode they built out of plywood, beer cans, and PVC. They made a bomb blast that would go up underneath a truck to protect against IEDs, basically, and it worked. It actually, the glass in the vehicle didn't break. So the old guy there, he is a retired rocket scientist, an actual rocket scientist. His son is a rocket scientist, and then they're all kind of engineers. They're, I guess, educated rednecks, right? So this guy is a cool guy. He's a meme. He's known as the almost politically correct redneck. I could not include any of his pictures. The stuff that's posted that this guy says is pretty, but it's good entertainment, so I recommend that you go check it out afterwards. Almost politically correct redneck. So here's the kind of stuff that rednecks get made fun of for, right? I mean, this is the idiotic. They were like, oh, so you got a Pringles can. Does that even look like a smart idea to anybody in this room? Yeah. It's a way to solve a problem. I don't know what the kid's thinking. You know, he's riding his bike. And, you know, Daddy, it's hard to steer. You got a redneck mansion. That one's kind of small. I don't know if you can make it out, but a guy made a harness for his desktop computer and his CRT monitor, and he's walking around his yard. I guess that is not me. I can see the resemblance there. Yeah. I don't think that's what. Uh-oh. That one's a fail. So this one entertains me. It's not solving a problem. They're just having a good time, right? They made a pontoon boat out of a picnic table and attached a motor to it. This one's kind of ingenious. I think this is right. Laziness is what motivates most of. Raise of hands. Who's lazy? Yes. So you're always trying to figure out a way to get out of doing work. This is genius to me. This is pure genius. I'm sorry, what? Efficient? This is cool. I've never seen that before. Has anybody seen that before? Tractor tires. That's cool. That kind of blows my mind. I can watch that over and over. Watch this part right here. Like right after the fire, it even looks like the air, it fills up with air a little bit in the tire. Now don't tell me you've never thought about doing this. You're like, if I could just get some additional lawnmowers, I could cut down the time that it takes to mow grass, because I hate mowing grass. Take a minute. This will take you some time. Folgers on the tail light. Right, so that one's not so creative, not so cool. That one's scale is bad, but in the state of Florida, their anti-smoking campaign and anti-dip campaign, they're making a comparison that if you you can buy tires for $950, and 5 months of dip is going to cost you $990. So that's kind of clever marketing. All right, so this one is on the idiotic side, but this is on the entertainment side. This is where he's trying to make his buddies laugh or something, right? So I'll just let you watch it. Boom. Ouch. Ouch. What are you thinking at that moment? You're like, oh man, that sucks. That was so stupid. Why did I do that? Bam. All right, no, this one is genius. This was odd to me. Russian rednecks. I didn't know such a thing existed, but this is pretty cool. Very simple, very efficient. Saves a ton of work, right? And I guarantee you it was cheap to do. So this guy, he made an air-conditioned bed for his dog, and it was on how do you say Imager? I-M-G-U-R? Imager? Okay. This was on there. One of the top quotes or the comments was, "Redneck, this is well designed and clever." And it's basically some vented mesh, and he's got some CPU fans inside of there, and he's got ice inside bottles that brings air into the pipe, and it cools his dog. It's pretty smart. The other comment, the reply to this guy saying, "Redneck, this is well designed and clever," was from somebody who identifies as being a redneck, and he says, "As a redneck, this is usually the case. We aren't stupid, or, well, some of us are stupid and poor." And but I thought, I mean, that's pretty good engineering. So this is clever. Anybody seen this one before? Is this one old? This was new to me. So for all those that haven't seen it, this is kind of neat. There's a second where you're like, oh. So I think they have two wires running from the balcony down to the ground somehow. And I think they have a rope on the back. It's kind of hard to make out with the resolution on this, but they lower the couch down to the ground. Did it have a truck? Oh, right into the bed of the truck? That would have been genius. All right, so story time. I know a guy, his name is Clive, we'll say. I changed the name. This is a real person. His dad had a small business basically doing woodwork, and there was a lot of manual labor involved, a lot of drilling, a lot of cutting, a lot of fitting of pieces. And he grew up around this his whole life. And he eventually took over the business from his father. He dropped out of school in 6th grade. He's like illiterate. I mean, this man cannot read, but he was probably one of the most ingenious men I've ever met in my whole life. He ended up developing machines that would cut and drill kind of all in one step. Like you feed a blank piece of wood into one end, and out the other end is a finished component. It has drilled holes, pre-cut slots. And he designed and built these machines himself. They're pneumatically operated, the majority of them. They would have like custom saw blades. And I was just fascinated by this man, and he's kind of what sparked me thinking about all this. Illiterate, 6th grade dropout, but he can do amazing engineering feats. Wow, I finished quickly. So conclusion, rednecks are a very inventive bunch. They're extremely creative problem solvers. Do you guys agree with that? Yes? Excellent. They don't let the lack of resources stop them from solving the problem that they're trying to solve. Yes, things don't always work out as expected, as the truck example was demonstrated. But hey, at least they tried something. If you're not doing something, try something, man. Don't worry about being embarrassed about it. I mean, somebody's going to laugh, but other people are going to think it's cool, or they're going to try to. And if you're from the South, don't be embarrassed of being a redneck. Embrace your redneck side. So right now, can I get a yeehaw? Yeehaw! You guys are great. So you can become a card-carrying redneck. I found a website called American Redneck Society. You can you can go register and become a certified redneck. That is all that I have.